From Forex Traders Daily, this is your daily analysis with Ross Mullins, live from Richmond, Virginia.
Hello everyone, this is today's video analysis for November 6th, 2017. I hope you had a great weekend and ready to get started trading this week. In today's video, I'm going to do a general overview of each of the U.S. currency pairs in anticipation of this week's trading, and I'm going to highlight some of the key levels that we will be looking for entry or exit opportunities. And as always, be sure to use appropriate risk management strategies in all trade setups. Let's get started here on the USDCHF. We're looking at the daily time frame. For the past several weeks, we go all the way back into late August. Along the red trend line, we have been in an uptrend. That's not too hard to see here. The trend's been moving up. It broke through the blue trend line, broke through the 100 period moving average, and it's been moving higher, challenging over the past week or so. The parity level 1.0 has been challenging it, testing it, so far unable to really stay significantly here on the daily time frame above that 1.0 level. Now, current price is above it, but it hasn't really stayed above it, and that's really going to be the key point this week. Let's zoom in on that blue box, top right-hand corner of our current trend. Take a look at that blue box there. Let me move it over just a little bit so we could see a little bit more history there. Right there, the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, today included, we've been bouncing around between the blue and the pink shaded area. And of course, the bottom of the pink zone is that 1.0 level. And you can see it's challenged it 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth day now, challenging it. And so far, it hasn't stayed above it. It's challenged it and hasn't stayed above it. So for this week, what I think we're looking for is for it to finally stay above this pink shaded area. If it can, I think we look for the continuation of this red trend, the red trend line here that we've been talking about. So if it can stay above 1.0, then we look for the continuation of the uptrend. Is it out of the question we could see a little bit of a pullback back to the blue zone, or potentially even back to the red trend line? No, it's not out of the question we could see that. So we want to be watchful for clues to resistance and reversal as well. So one of two things is going to happen up here at the pink shaded area that we want to watch for. It's either going to break through it or it's going to bounce off of it. So we're going to be watching for price action, clues, and evidence that point to one of those two things: breakthrough or bounce off and turn around and go back down. Take it down to the 4-hour time frame. I don't think we can have any real significant evidence here of either one of those things. We're just kind of stuck and rattling around since market open inside that pink shaded area. This is the market open area right here. This is closed Friday. This is open on Sunday or Monday, and we can see it just kind of rattling around between 1.0, 1.0020. 20 pip zone highlighted in pink there. So we need a breakout, really. A breakout above or below the pink zone to give us a clue for at least intraday direction or maybe longer term direction for the dollar franc. Moving on over to the euro dollar, just the opposite, something we've been studying in the live trade room. I'm just going to zip over here to a different chart real quick. We've been studying this head and shoulders pattern that's developed on the daily time frame. I've zoomed out so we don't really see candlesticks, but we see the overall structure of the pattern. The gold trend line, the blue line as the shoulders, the red line is the neck level of the pattern, 100 period moving average sitting there at the red line, 236 fib of the long-term uptrend sitting there. So we've been selling this currency pair overall for the past couple of weeks in the live trade room, targeting down into the 114s. And I don't think we change our perspective. As long as it's really, and I know it's 100 pips higher, but as long as it's underneath 117, 116.75, I say we continue to go short. We continue to sell this on rallies into resistance, breaks of support, and we look for opportunities to stay short. We've been studying this and trading it for the past few weeks. You can see my current entry, 1.1655 down there at the bottom of the chart, currently sitting 65 pips. That was from last week, of course. We're going to hold that and see if we can get it to pressure lower here for the euro dollar, back down into the 114s. All that changes if it breaks above 117 again. Let's take it back to our other chart. We can see some other support resistance levels around the current market. Of course, the yellow zone is where we took the short last week. We're targeting right now currently 1570 or so. 1545 is our next support. I don't think selling here is the best opportunity. I think selling back on a rally to the yellow zone would be a better, lower risk, higher reward. That's what we always want: low risk and high reward. So Any rally close as possible to 116.20 or so, or even into the mid 116s becomes an opportunity to go short. Target the orange zone first, and we'll look at some deeper targets later on in the trade room, but beyond that, we're back down towards 115 or the 114s for the euro dollar. Moving over here to the GBPUSD, this one's been a little bit tough for us, but overall, I still think we're in an uptrend. Look at the blue trend line, the 100 period moving average. What's interesting about those as we zoom it way in and take a look at where the market is right now, right around the blue trend line and the 100 period moving average. So it's challenging it, testing it. We've sat down on top of this orange zone for so long. Any breakdown of that orange zone, which is 1.3030, 3065, we'll look for the pound dollar to probably break out significantly lower if it can break through that orange zone 3030. If it can't, rallies to resistance become potential opportunities to go short. Blue zone, 1.312555. We've already touched that for the past 2 days as resistance. That was support back here. Anything above the blue zone, of course, we'll look for it to challenge higher. By the way, in the direction of the uptrend that this currency pair has been in. If you're a buyer, I think you're probably looking to get in long if it's close to 130.30, that orange shade area. You want to buy into the orange zone, maybe a break above the blue zone. So it's been bouncing around in here for several days. I think it's time to be a little bit, cautious on this pair. I haven't actually traded the pound dollar for the past few weeks because it's just been rattling around in this range. If you're a buyer, the orange zone, low 130s. If you're a seller, you're looking for the rally, sell resistance, break support, and look for the continuation of the trend for the pound dollar. Moving over to the USDCAD. We had some news last week. We have some news this week. Just bouncing around. Overall, though, we have been, since late August, early September, in an uptrend along the blue trend line. I don't think that's changed. I think it's very interesting, though. You look back to the left-hand side, the blue circle that you see there around the yellow shaded area, 1.2720, 1.2765 is that yellow zone. Blue circle shows resistance. That's where we are right now as support. So I don't think you want to go short into that resistance. Also, Fibonacci, low of the blue trend line, lowest low to the current resistance high from last week. We see the 236 sitting 127.14. That's the bottom of the yellow zone. Let's begin to zoom it in on that a little bit. There's that 236 right at the bottom of the yellow shaded area. So as long as it sits above that and we're within the trend and above the yellow zone where's resistance back here and left, I don't think I would want to go short. It would need to break through the yellow zone to go short. So don't go short right now. Maybe a rally back towards the orange zone could give you an opportunity, but if it starts going back up, I think we could be looking for another move higher here in the direction of the trend for the USCAD. Moving to the 4-hour time frame, look at this. Just kind of sitting right around the 27.50-60 level. It's just sitting here right now. So we need some sort of motivation for this currency pair to start moving. I still think focusing in on the upside is the direction I would focus on for the dollar CAD. Moving over to the USDJPY, this is a currency pair. We have a trade going from last week again. It's not tremendous profit. It is in profit, but not tremendous. We have closed some of the profit on the trade. 113.75 is the long shot that we took here in the direction of the trend. Sat down in support last week, bought it, and now just sitting up here at the top of the trend. Take a look back here. The green and the blue circle, the green shaded area, 114.2550. Yes, we're long on a dip to support, but of course the next move that we need to see is a push above that green zone, 114.50. It can finally get above there. We'll look for the move higher. So far, it has been unable to stay above that green shaded area, 1425.50. Could we look for a reversal? Sure. We'll watch for evidence of that. I think it would definitely need to break 113.70.90, the yellow zone, the blue trend line, before we would expect it to go lower. So it'd have to get underneath that. Let me zoom in on that a little bit more. So again, I think it would have to get under the blue trend line, under the yellow zone, before I would look for it to go short. Here for the US yen, it would have to get above the green zone before I'd look for it to continue the upside. For right now, 1, 2, 3, 4 days finding resistance green zone, 3 days finding support yellow zone. So I don't think you want to sell on top of the yellow zone. I don't think you want to buy under the green zone. So if you're looking to buy, dips to the yellow zone, or sell rallies to the green zone, at least provide lower risk, and at some point we'll look for a breakout above the green zone or below the yellow zone for our next trend direction on the US yen. Moving over to the AUDUSD, this one has been bouncing around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days or so, been bouncing around down here. Let's just put a box around that just so we know what we're talking about. I'm going to draw it out and move it right here. There it is right there. Let's take a look at that area that I just put the blue box there. It's just been bouncing around in there for a long time. So we need some motivation. We need some motivation for this to move. We do have some news out of Australia. 10:30 p.m. Eastern U.S. time this evening. We do have some news that may be a motivation for the Australian dollar with rate information. If there's any surprise in the rate statement, it could be some motivation for this to move. We have been also studying the correlation of the Australian dollar and the gold prices fluctuating up and down. Very similar correlation, so you might want to take a look at that also if you're trading the Australian dollar. Zooming in on this a little bit in that blue box. Obviously, if you're looking to go long and buy the Australian dollar, you would prefer to do it close as possible to the orange zone. Obviously, support down here. Maybe a break of the black trend line and the blue shaded area may give you an opportunity to go long. And of course, above the green zone would be even a better opportunity above that resistance high. If you're looking to stay short, which I think is still the overall expectation that I would have, bearish move on Friday, just holding underneath the blue zone might be our opportunity. Watch gold again, I think would be a correlation there. And keep an eye on your news this evening out of Australia. And a breakdown of the orange zone. We'll look for the continuation of the downtrend for the Australian dollar. And lastly, moving over to the NZD/USD, we do have a little bit of a trade going, 69.40 from last week. We're currently locked in 5 pips. Can't lose on the trade, sitting about 40 pips of profit right now. We've seen a good bit more than that. But the trend is still down. I don't think we can change our mind about the trend. It's still down. Nothing really new there. We do have RBNZ rate statement coming up later in the mid part of the week. You'll want to pay attention to that for the New Zealand dollar. But right now, again, look at the blue circle within the downtrend. We saw a pretty decent rally and then a fall. We've been in rally mode for the past couple of days. I think selling resistance is still the overall theme here within the downtrend. If you have any inclination to go long and buy, I think you don't want to buy right now under the yellow zone. Take a look at the yellow zone. I mean, we've seen resistance 1, 2, 3, 4 days. 4 days finding resistance at 69.15.40, the yellow shaded area. Don't buy under the yellow zone. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. You would want to look for it to break through that barrier, that yellow shaded area. You need to break through it before you would look for it to go higher. If anything, if you're looking to buy it, a dip to the green zone obviously has been a better idea, lower risk, higher reward if you buy on a dip to support or a break of resistance. If you're looking to sell it close to the yellow zone, maybe an opportunity. Next thing would be the breakdown of the green zone. I don't think it's out of the question. We may see another challenge of the red trend line, orange shaded area, 69.80, 7,000. If it makes a run above the yellow shaded area. It'd have to break through the yellow zone before that happens. 4-hour time frame really wouldn't change it much, so we'll just stick here on the daily. If you're going to sell it, look at the yellow zone, the orange zone, or a breakdown of the green zone. If you're looking to buy it, just don't do it underneath the yellow zone right now. For 4 days we have found resistance there, and midweek we may get some motivation for this to break this cycle for the New Zealand dollar this week.
From Forex Traders Daily, this has been your daily analysis with Ross Mullins. If you would like to get Ross's analysis on all the currency pairs he's watching and all the trades he takes today, join him in his live trade room by clicking on the link below. Please leave any comments you have about today's video in the comments section below.